The only time better than today to sell your cards was yesterday. Let's talk about selling cards on TCG Player and eBay. Well, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. My name is Louie, and I hope you're having yourself a fantastic day. Today, I want to talk about and give you kind of my roadmap for you to start selling your cards, whether that be on TCG Player or eBay. I have a huge passion of this channel is to encourage you to invest in yourself and to create a way to move cards and to sell cards to fund your own hobby in the trading card game world. That's something that's been a passion of mine the entire way through this channel. I do buy collections too, so if you're lazy and you don't want to do this and you don't want to go down the rabbit trail of buying and selling collections and selling on TCG Player or whatever, you can reach out to me at KitchenTableTCG@gmail.com if you want to sell a collection and take the easy way out. But when you do that, when you sell your cards to a local store, to somebody like me, you do leave money on the table. And the video that I want to make today is encouraging you to trade your time for money and invest in yourself to do that. So why start selling cards today? And like I said at the beginning of this video, the best time to do this would have been yesterday. And a lot of you guys need a little kick in the butt to get yourself off the couch, off the video games, and start doing something like this. So why start selling the cards? Number one is it allows you to engage in this hobby differently. There's so much negative sentiment about Wizards of the Coast and Magicthegathering and even other TCGs, so much negativity. Sometimes when you're just playing the games, it gets like you need to take a break. You need to exit yourself from that realm. You need to stop, take a break from the sweaty commander tables and take a break from the grinding the events, and you just need to engage in the hobby differently. I think that's really important. This is one of the best hobbies in the world because it's not just an empty pit. You don't just spend money on cards and they're not worthless. It's, when you go buy a boat, it's just a bottomless pit of money. But when you do something like this, these cards have value, and so there's an upside to the hobby, and that's what I'm encouraging you to tap into. And the second thing is like creating a secondary income for your life is a really, really big win. It allows you to do different things. It allows you to fund the hobby if you want to use it to fund the hobby, so you're not taking money from your friends and your family. I don't know why you're taking money from your friends, but so you're not taking money from your family to fund your hobby, to fund your commander decks, that kind of thing, but it also sets you up to invest in yourself in other ways if you choose to create a business out of it or do that kind of thing. So how would I start selling cards today? I started this 5 or 6 years ago, then I started the YouTube channel. If I was to start fresh today, if I had no history of this at all, what would I do? Well, I have 2 S's and a P for you, okay? The first S is that you need to find a supply. You need to find a way to acquire cards and get the cards that you will eventually sell. So your first understanding of this kind of world is you have to find a way to get cards. Many of you probably already have a stack of cards at home sitting on your desk or on your table, or in empty commander decks that you haven't played for 6 months, and you have a supply of cards to get this going. So I would encourage you to first start there. Start with what you already have. It requires you to have zero money. You already have a bunch of Magic cards. Start selling those cards and start working your way up to seller level 4. Should be your first big goal when you're selling cards on TCG Player. Getting to that seller level 4 is an absolutely important factor if you're going to sell cards and do this. So use your own collection to start and to get into this thing. But eventually that runs out and you need a way to kind of consistently get product in, consistently get cards in. And that's why we have things like the Gold Wizard program on this channel. There's 100 other people out there who do this kind of direct to consumer at cost from distribution whole model. But I obviously want you to go to mine and check out my Discord server at KitchenTableTCG.com. Hop in, look into the Gold Wizard program where you get to order product as if you were a store. You don't have to have the overhead. You don't have to have the whole thing. You can actually buy product to crack open if you want to, as from me at cost. We do a 3.5% credit card fee, and then you pay shipping. So there is a little bit more than cost, but at the end of the day, it's essentially at cost. And a lot of people do things like cracking open commander decks. So buy 8 cases of the commander deck sets, ship them out to them, they crack them all open, and they're profiting like 25-30% off of the time that it takes them to crack open those commander decks and list out and sell the cards. Things like commander decks. You can also do things like buy sealed product and crack that open. It's a little bit more higher risk, a little bit more reward as well. But these are great programs. And again, there's 100 of them out there. Look at other people's programs if you want, but this is a great way to get that kind of consistent inventory. It's not going to be the best profit margins, but it is consistent inventory to act as a baseline for this kind of model of starting the single store, starting this thing. The second way I have really realized over the last couple years is that Secret Lair oftentimes is one of the more profitable ways of breaking down singles. It's absolutely crazy. There's again risk there, but the supply of Secret Lair and consistent nature of which they release products and the consistent FOMO that happens when people miss out and go to the secondary market and buy the cards. Buying some Secret Lairs is another supply, another opportunity for you to get cards in. You got the commander decks that have been coming out, the singles for those. Again, commander decks are like the secret arbitrage in the industry right now. It's an amazing way to pick up something for, the Secret Lair commander decks are like $150. The arbitrage there on singles is absolutely nuts most of the time. So there's ways to get supply without joining a wizard program like mine. There's ways to get supply like that as well. And then the last thing that I have really seen, I've seen people do this locally and I've heard of people doing this online, is just by building relationships at your local game store. Listen, don't go into your local game store and start advertising that you're buying collection. Don't take that away from your local game store. That's a little bit shady, a little bit crappy. Don't do that. But if you go and you hang out with people who play Magic the Gathering and you have a business that you've started and you're buying and selling cards and people start knowing that this is something that you do, one of two things ends up happening. Either they're going to start doing it themselves, which I've seen happen a lot, or when they come to sell their collection and when they need money, they're going to reach out to you because you are a person who has a relationship with them and they know, and most of the time they need money quickly. They know that you are somebody who can move the cards and do that kind of thing, and so they will sell you their collection. So one of those supply avenues is just being involved in your local community, being a good person, playing Magic the Gathering, enjoying that side of the hobby, and eventually things start turning and you start picking up collections from other players in the area. This has been something that's happened for 25, 30 years in the Magic the Gathering ecosystem, and it still happens today. Either people will end up doing it themselves or they will look for somebody else to pick up their cards, and that could be you. There's some other ways, Facebook, eBay lots. Those are all, in my opinion, high risk, low kind of potential reward, things that take up a lot more time and energy rather than having these kind of consistent streams of product that you can, reliably make 20-25% in profit on selling singles online. I think the supply, those 4 things are things that I would focus on. And then if you want to take a gamble on a Facebook lot and get, scammed, or if you want to buy an eBay lot that's probably already been picked through, you can try that stuff out. Those are not things that I particularly have ever found success in my 5 to 6 years of doing this pretty consistently. So supply is the first S, the first important thing. And the other side of that next is setup, the second S. So you have supply, and then you have to have some setup there to actually process through these cards and get things gone. The first thing you're going to need is space. For the longest time, I used this little table in the back of my room. For the entire pandemic, I probably shipped 100,000 orders myself from this table. We did that the entire time through the pandemic. We didn't have a big space. We didn't have this whole big thing. I wasn't a store to start off at the time. I wasn't a store, and I was doing all my singles down here. When it got when it got pretty big, we were doing all the singles down here just at a random table in my house and an extra space in my house. So not everybody has an extra room. I get that, but you don't need a bunch of space, but you do need a space that is your shipping area, a space that belongs to what you are doing, so you can put your stuff everywhere and you don't have to set up and tear down every night, and a way for you to quickly come down, hit print on orders, package them, ship them out, and get rid of them. You need an efficient space in order to do this. The second thing you need is tools. You need the, you're going to need some sort of computer, obviously the basics, but you also have the kind of higher end tools. There's a lot of online resources that you can use, and you need to research some of them. Mox Alpha is one of them. It's an online tool that lets you see the arbitrage in the sealed product. You can literally look up commander decks, you can set it for price over 50 cents, and it will show you the arbitrage that exists both on the open market as well as looking at a gold wizard type program from someone like myself. So you can evaluate and you can say, holy moly, Modern Horizons 3 decks, the EV, the expected value or the value within the cards in the set is $250, and I can get the decks for $165. Like, that's a great way to look into, to kind of make sure that you're making that profit percentage. So learn the tools. One of the biggest tools, and this is pretty free too, is joining Discord servers. You can join my Discord server and talk to people who do this all the time, who know of these tools, who can help you learn how to use these tools, and who can set you up. Join those Discord servers, KitchenTableTCG@gmail.com. Again, no, that's my email. Sorry, KitchenTableTCG.com. I know I'm like I'm not trying to shill just for myself. There's amazing communities that exist to help you grow a business in this field. And so find other ones if they're not mine, but there are people out there who just like helping people set up this stuff and evaluate and grow that. The next thing, you're obviously going to need time. One of the things I used to do is just set up an hour a day. I was just gonna, and this will grow. For a while, it'll take you 20 minutes to ship out your orders. But set up a time every single day that you're gonna print your orders, you're gonna look at it, you're gonna ship them, you have to do, like, the whole point of this, if you're going to do this world of, selling cards, selling magic products, selling whatever, is that you're replacing your time for money. You are sacrificing your time to make some money. So if you play 3 hours of video games a night, say, hey, for the first 6 months, I'm going to take 30 minutes out of the time. Before I start playing video games, I'm going to spend 30 minutes listing cards or selling cards every single day. Maybe you alternate. One day you list cards, the next day you sell cards, because you got to get your orders shipped within 48 hours. So set up some time and do that. And then the last thing on the setup is that you're going to need to be involved on some forms of social media. A lot of people hate this. This might be a little bit more of an optional thing. But whenever you're buying cards, buying collections, doing different things, you're going to run into specific cards that, like, don't sell on TCG Player, a misprint, right? Or a miscut, or a serialized card, or some sort of, collection item that is rare and hard to see what the value is. And some of the best places to move those cards are things like Facebook, things like Discord servers, and that kind of field. And so whether or not, you can create a separate Facebook account, whatever, that's just used for your cards. It's, just your thing, but you're also going to need some references there. It's a great tool to have to build this ecosystem of selling things so that you have the opportunity to liquidate some of the assets you have, some of the cards you have, some of the higher end things without paying those big steep fees. I, for one, think that TCG Player is worth the fees, the 13% or whatever it is, because of the volume increase in selling and the simplicity of selling. You don't have to get there and list every card individually every night. You don't have to make sure you're up to date on, your Facebook listing or your Discord listing. I kind of hate the whole selling cards on Facebook, because the extra time you commit, in my opinion, is not worth the time that is saved by just hitting a button to list on TCG Player, and the inventory management happens automatically. But for higher end items or things that you don't want to take that big hit on fees, or you don't want to risk shipping it to somebody who may or not be scamming on TCG Player, that happens a ton. Utilizing some of those social media platforms, I think, is really big win. And then it also helps you to network and to evaluate and to grow as an individual, to again have those kind of reference pages, but also have those relationships in order to learn this hobby, this side of the hobby, in order to learn the business side of it as well. So that's setup. And then the last thing, so you had supply, setup, and I told you there was a P, is patience. This is not a thing that you're going to turn in tomorrow and you're going to see just raw excitement and wins. If you take this, you're going to be taking your time and transferring it into money. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be times when people scam you. There's going to be times when an order gets lost by United States Postal Service and you're going to lose a $50 cart. There's going to be times when things don't go your way. But if you take a step back from those moments and look at the bigger picture, the thing that you are creating here is certainly worth those moments, what requires some extra patience. It also takes a long time to get, like I said, getting to seller level 4 opens up a bunch of the tools on TCG Player, opens up a bunch of the auto pricing things and the shipping stuff, and it opens it up and makes it a lot easier. So for a while, until you get those 100 sales or whatever, you're gonna have to kind of break even for a little bit. You're gonna have some patience as you get your rankings up, your levels up on TCG Player or on eBay in order to get into that kind of sweet spot where things are rolling and grooving. But have patience through that whole thing, because that's when you will learn the most. You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna do things wrong, and instead of getting mad and separating yourself from it, learn from those mistakes and use it to grow and have patience on your way there. So, at the end of the day, the goal of this video is to encourage you that in this hobby, you have an incredible opportunity to take what is fun about the hobby and to also allow that to grow and allow you to profit from the stuff that you already have, profit from the time that you can commit to it to fund the hobby itself, or to create this kind of secondary business or secondary income stream for yourself, which is a really, really big win. And one of the things we talk about on the channel a lot. So if you want more information about this, again, a great place to go is KitchenTableTCG.com. Hop into the Discord server, ask questions, hop in. It's free to be in the server, and that's also where that gold wizard thing is, where you can get product at cost plus shipping. Make sure you sign up for that if you do on desktop and not on mobile, because Apple adds like 25% to the cost or something. So I don't see any of that anyway, but it'll be like $8 cheaper for you if you are on a desktop. All right, that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I hope you have yourself a fantastic day. Remember to be kind to the people around you. We'll see you again next video.